Hey now, cats. It is Matt Wheels of Destiny coming for you. I am taking over the introduction for this week's movie snobs because Balls is feeling a little thick in the throat. So we're gonna try this out. We are excited to bring you whatever fucking episode that this is of the Movie Snobs podcast. It's the first one of 2026, and I think we have the most ridiculous double feature here for you tonight. Real quick, if this is your first time watching it, what the fuck are you doing this many episodes in? Maybe the movies were interesting to you this time. I don't know because it's technically in the title when you're looking at it. But if you haven't watched this one before, it's a crazy one. I'm the most pretentious movie person in the entire world. The French New Wave kind of asshole. Balls is just a disgusting, crazy B movie, eye, blood, guts, and titties type of movies.
You
That
got
he
that right, sir.
even I'll go to him, and somehow we've come out of this as better people. I don't understand how it works, but it's turning us into more well-rounded human beings. So on this lovely episode, we created a double feature out of the 2000 Cult Classic Battle Royale and the 1970s gambling movie California Split, which is just one of the most interesting double features I think we've ever put together. Now, I think because I'm doing the introduction, that means I've drawn the short straw, and Balls gave me Battle Royale. So I think the first movie we're going to talk about, Mr. Balls from Elwood, if you would like to, would be Battle Royale, which I know I've just been speaking for just 3 minutes straight, and I'm gonna continue to speak for 5 to 25 more minutes straight if I have to, but, um, this movie was
What did you think of Battle Royale, sir?
well, Battle Royale was actually pretty fucking dope. I kinda had some low expectations going into it, assuming that it was going to just be a bloodfest of, like, just kids killing each other, which it was. Like, it absolutely was it was a movie with kids, but there was so much more happening below the surface, and I feel like it's a movie that if I do start watching more often or a couple of times, I'm gonna notice certain things, and I think with the context of what's going on in the world around us, I think even that played into how I was registering some of these scenes. Cause like, it's a movie that is very clearly just like this high school coming of age story, but it's also happening in this weird, twisted dystopian fantasy. And it's like sort of it's cynical, like, it's a really cynical movie, right? But, about this idea of here's how this could play out in a circumstance where you have a whole bunch spoiler alert, sorry, I mean, it doesn't really a spoiler alert because it's in the description, but you have a whole bunch of ninth graders running around, having to kill each other. The only survivor is the only one allowed to leave. But like it still comes across as like this high school movie where like it's the kids like having crushes on each other or professing love in situations where that's not love or real love. These are just fucking kids. But then it's also intensely humane and showing you like there are always gonna be these people who will try and do the right thing even in the face of total absurdity, and I think that was a cool side story, and then there was also this, like, this is the last thing I'm gonna get out, and then I need you to just throw me a bunch of questions. I loved how they handled creating context for these characters, right? Like showing Shuya's background, this family, his father killing himself, mother dying, going to the orphanage, creating a relationship with this kid who also like showing this background of like, okay, these are kids who they're not shitty because they're just bad people and we should give up hope. There's context to why people have trauma or why they act the way they do, and it should be understood. But I keep thinking about the serial killer girl. I can't remember her name. It was like Misaki or Mizuki or something. Just the psychopath chick who was like just using her body. Like the one scene where like it ends with her after she killed these two kids and they're just naked. So like she fucked them and killed them. Like she was going around. I think that was one of the coolest characters handled because the movie spent an hour building her up as this irredeemable piece of shit. This, I just love what I'm doing. I'm killing. I'm so good at this. I'm conniving and using only to then show you she had the worst fucking background out of every character in that goddamn movie, to where it was like, well, she's like this because her mother prostituted her out as an 8-year-old, and her first kill in life was killing an old man trying to rape her. So that's where her context comes from. And all of a sudden, you have just humanized the most evil person that you've created in this. And it was, I don't know, I thought it was a terrifying movie. It was beautiful. It was funny in pieces, and, just blood. The blood and guts fucking everywhere, and I just, yeah, that was a good one. That was a really, really cool one that I'm excited to watch again in different contexts. I can't even imagine what I would have thought of that movie if I watched it, like, even 10, 15 years ago. Like, I feel like I would have had even a different take on it as just this, like, high level, absurd, what the fuck is going on here? But now I'm seeing it as like, this government actively just using people in death traps and trying to pit us against each other in this, like, well, it's a me versus you situation. So if it's me versus you, what are you gonna do? And we all know how that fucking ends. It ends with a lot of dead people. So it was cool. It was dripping with subtext in a way that I didn't expect it to be, so I thought that was sweet.
It's funny because, like, you were just talking a few minutes ago, just actually thought about it. I mean, I'd seen that movie, geez, probably back in 2000 when it first came out, and it in fact was very controversial at the time. In fact, it was if I'm
I read it got banned. I read
it
just
was on the video nasties list for a very long time, and I'm thinking back then, and even back then, I had a different opinion of it, just context was the reason I gave it to you this time, and you pretty much hit every single nail on the head that I had wanted you to. It's funny because when I watched it back then, in that dystopian future that they're painting, it almost seemed like impossible. Like that was the impossibility of it is like it was so fantastic that like you're like, oh, this is over the top and this could not happen at all. And then if you fast forward to now, it has a day, now you're like you seeing all that subtext and all that, all the
well,
things.
it's funny 'cause, like, the island is very clearly just a miniature of society. Like, to
Yes,
make it work, it's like, well, okay, we're gonna put them on an island separate from mainland Japan, or like, mainland society, because it seemed like they were making up a fake government to get around censorship. But it's on an island separated, but when you kinda think about it, it's sort of it's a miniature, um it is a microcosm of what our society actually is, right? So, sure, we might not be on the islands, like that specific island, but we're 100% on an island where we have people going, if you don't kill that person, I'm going to kill you. If you don't kill that person, you don't get to go home. That person is a bad person and they don't deserve to live anymore, but you deserve to live. So you need to get rid of them if you want to survive. Otherwise, you're not going to be allowed to survive. And I think that's a really, really interesting mentality to take a look at in that way, with everything going on in the world around us, not even just in our country, but in other illiberal society, sort of dictator like uh societies. And because it is the truth. It's actually absurdist philosophy. It's something that Camus talked about in The Rebel. Where it's this idea that once you find yourself in an all or nothing, there is no coming back from it. You either have to accept that you're in the all or nothing, or you die. And it's why we should never push ourselves to all or nothing situations, because then we'll find ourselves having to make tough choices that push against our basic ideas of morality and ethics. And you saw that. It was a movie where you saw these kids immediately having this, like, crisis of conscience and morality, only for them to realize, fuck, if I don't do this, I die. Like the first kill that like I was like, oh, that's really funny was like the fat kid who like he was pissing his pants so fucking scared and then was just like hiding, waiting for people to come out to try and kill everyone as quickly as possible so he could go home. And he was like crying while he was doing it to where like it was actually a weirdly good acted part of like, here is like, this is an interesting character of like that person who does not want to be doing this, but feels so forced by the circumstance, but doesn't understand they could figure out something with the community if they just banded together. Because then that's ultimately what it was. They were able to solve the problem by banding together as a community and figuring out how do we push back against these fucks.
God damn it, dude. I have to say, one of my favorite things about doing this show and this project with you is there's nothing I enjoy more than giving you films like this that on a surface level just seem like kind of like over the top and crazy and kind of even exploitative.
Yeah.
But you always have that knack. And it makes me so happy inside that you see underneath the underlying all the important. Because like, yeah, I feel like this film, self-admittedly, is probably one of my favorite films ever made. I love everything about it. I love the score. I love the subtext. I love the moral of the story, the acting, everything about it. I think it's a perfect 10 in my world, and I love it. And just knowing that you've caught all that, and I feel like this movie has never even been more important than in the society that we live today. You've caught every single thing that I wanted you to catch. I just am beside myself happy because I personally have never seen anybody that doesn't enjoy this film, but I'm sure there's people out there, but I've yet to yeah, there's only a few people I've seen it really seen how deep a message this movie
Well, I think that's what makes, and I think that's why I kind of love it so much is I wanna be the type of artist who can make things that can survive on a superficial level, that you can watch it, turn off your brain, and just enjoy the colors for what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. I will never be one of those people who says popcorn movies are bullshit and shouldn't be allowed. Like, no, it create something with meaning always. But I am the type of filmmaker who I want to see somebody who can simultaneously create something that can be accessible to every type of viewer. That is a movie that is accessible to every single type of viewer. It is something that if you want to go into it without thinking about society and just seeing a movie with like a lot of twists and turns and a ticking clock and you know what how are they going to make it out of it like it you can watch it like that. Or if you're someone who is a sick fucker who's tapped into modern politics or social philosophy and all this weird, you can then see something totally different if you want to engage with it at that level. And I think that's what makes it such a cool movie. Is it's something that I feel like I could recommend it kind of every type of viewer to take in. And those movies are beautiful because like the philosophical things and sort of this like, you know, pointing out these ills in our society, those get into people through osmosis, even if they don't realize it. Like you'll have someone watching it just at a superficial level, but like that subtext that gets into you. Even if you don't realize it, you internalize pieces of it and you bring it into your everyday life. So a movie like that that's able to kind of like hit all of those boxes in different ways, to me, it's a great movie. That just within itself is just a great movie. So it's one of those ones that's just a high recommend for me because it's cool. It's cool on a bunch of different in a bunch of different levels. And it's terrifying. Like it's so scary because like the first 20 minutes of violence, they feel so real and hurtful and impactful and terrifying and then you become really desensitized to it. And now you're fine with the death and you see it and it's normalized and it's not as powerful as it was in the first act. But then somehow by the time you start to get to the third act, that power comes back, that violence, using other people as a means to an end now, and this like, then the violence takes back on that terrifying shape, and to me, that was cool because that's a hard thing to do. It's hard to create impactful violence in a movie, especially watching it 26 years later. when, I grew up with school shootings. Like school shootings is a normal thing in my life and in my generation. Mass violence is not out of the ordinary for me in my time on this earth. So, like, to have me watch something where it's like, okay, here's a bunch of mass violence and I feel uncomfortable by it, that's somebody who understood why these things are important at a visceral level. And I think it's fucked. It is a fucked up movie. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. That is a fucked up movie, but holy shit, man.
Did you watch the director's cut or did you watch the theatrical cut? Mm.
I think I watched the director's cut because you gifted this to me as a like, you need to fucking watch this movie. And I think I was struggling to find the director's cut, so I watched the full thing.
Cut is the way to go because there is more important things, which the only reason a lot of that stuff got cut out was because of length, like, runtime. But, I mean, I feel like a lot of stuff that got cut out was all also really important to the story, which,
It was a good like for a 2-hour movie as a director's cut, like the pacing felt
like,
good.
was pretty fast. I
Yeah, I did not feel any issue with the building. There sometimes I'll watch a movie or you'll show me a movie, even if I like it, I'll click to see how long is left just so I know like where I'm at in it. And because I really don't look at run times before I start any of these movies.
I don't even
This was one of those ones like I found myself like an hour and 30 into it before I like hit the button and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even think I was this far into it. Like, what the fuck?
that's kind of a treat, though. I do that sometimes, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is almost over? Wow." Like,
Yeah.
it's, I feel like that's the sign of a good film, though. But, yeah, I couldn't be more happy, dude. Like, your opinion, as you know, is in the upper echelon to the people that I talk to in my circle, and you loving this and appreciating this movie as much as I do is, definitely a milestone. This might be my proudest moment in doing this show with you, to be honest
I
with
love this. Well, here we go. If you don't got any other questions for me, I think it's time to see.
I got one for
I
you real quick.
Give me one more. All right, give me one more. We'll lead into the next guy.
What did you feel is the most disturbing part of this film that film, for you personally? I mean, there's a lot of fucked up
That's
shit in it, but what actually stuck out in your mind as being the most disturbing?
Oh, that is a good fucking question.
'Cause I have an answer, and it
I
helps
did
sticks
kind of
out.
bring it up earlier when we were let into the context of the serial killer's life, and she was given up by her mother for money to be molested by an old man. That one really, really sticks with me as like, holy shit, that's fucked. That is really, 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 really fucked. Um, but actually one that I like as I'm even trying to sit here think of it, um, Shuya losing his friends within the first act, is one that I think when I was talking earlier about using violence in a way that made me intensely uncomfortable, that character being the one to, like, set the example for what all the other characters need to do for these coming days, that to me was one of the most horrific deaths that I've seen because it felt even though I knew what the movie was, I knew where the movie was going, I was still having a hard time accepting that they were just gonna start killing off characters instantly, like, just to set an example, and it created this weird vibe that I haven't experienced with anything else that I've watched, so that those 2 things I really do think and they were at very different parts in the movie and still managed to surprise me, so I would say that one. What's your one that really sticks out?
I mean, I've seen this movie literally hundreds of times, seriously, not even a joke. But the one thing that always still seems to get under my skin a little bit is the weird, creepy relationship that Beat Takeshi has, with the girl at the end.
Yeah, that one still doesn't make sense, like, it's one of those ones to where, like, I think that was the weirdest storyline going on in it, but there was so much other crazy shit going on
Yeah, that
that
that almost downplays such a crazy thing, like, there's so much other crazy shit going on that that's just like, "Eh." Like,
yeah, like, what were they doing? Was he, like, in love with
I
her?
feel like he was in love with her. Hmm.
and then that's the other thing is like that makes he and this is a person who the whole thing is like you're bad kids and you're bad people and and he's a fucking pederast,
Yeah,
dude. Like,
yeah, that's still on some level, like it gets under my skin,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
Beat Takeshi is one of my favorite actors. Like he,
oh, and that was a mess. That dude was that was the
you got
scariest
this dude.
motherfucker.
You got. He's been in tons of great movies. He has one where he's taken on the yakuza called Outrage. That's a really good one. Yeah, he's a great.
Shit.
Oh, I love him so much. Plus, I mean, if you ever watched MXC, dude, that's Beat
Is
Takeshi.
he in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you remember MXC?
Uh
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
oh my god, I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
I
was
do.
actually based on Takeshi's Castle.
Holy shit, that is.
Yeah, that was Takeshi's Castle, and they just dubbed it in English and made funny comments and shit.
Oh my god, what were those guys? What were those fucking dudes named Ken and something
Ken
else?
Romano and was it there was Guy Ledouche, and then there's I'm trying to think who's Beat Takeshi was. Uh
Oh my
Vic
god.
Romano, Blankenship, and then Guy Ledouche. Yeah.
Holy shit, you just brought me back to when I was like 6 years old and my mom taught me how to watch that shit on
I
fucking
watch that all the
VHS.
time still. I love that shit.
God damn,
I
dude.
watched it back when it was Takeshi's Castle, and then whenever Spike TV did that, I was like, "Oh man, why'd they ruin this show?" And then I watched it, like, "Oh no, that's actually pretty fucking funny." So,
That's so funny. Holy shit. I mean, that's goddamn. That's really funny when you have people that you've genuinely seen in your life and you cannot figure out why or where it came from. That's so funny. All right. We
let's
are
uh, let's go.
we're gonna move. We're gonna move over, and I am giving you my second Robert Altman movie because I wanted to try again and see is there anything there? And I gave you California Split. So how did that go?
Oh, Wheels, I hate after all that to have to do this, but man, I don't get Altman, man. It's just not my thing.
Dude, it's just a fun gambling movie.
I love I love what's his name? The dude in it.
Elliot Gould.
Yeah, I like Elliot Gould. I always did, but I mean, but here's the weird part about it. I'm gonna actually I watched it how long ago,
Yeah.
and I don't really think I dug it. But here's the weird part. I've been thinking about it ever since.
Oh, that's a good sign.
So that tells me I think I maybe did like it. I can honestly tell you I liked it a lot better than the one you gave me before.
Yeah.
And under more consideration, I almost feel like maybe I'm wrong. I think I might be did in some level enjoy it. Like I mean, and here's what it is. I was actually talking about this today with XT, and I'm like, I think he's such a good actor that he kind of got me. You know what I mean? Like they're such reprehensible characters that it made me hate the movie because they're such good fucking reprehensible characters, which in turn I think I did like the movie now. Now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I think maybe the problem is I did not like this film. The problem is they're just so good at being pieces of shit that it irritated me, which when you think about it intellectually, it's kind of the fucking point. So I think I liked it.
So have you ever had a background with like degenerate gamblers or being around people who are just like they're constantly looking for an angle that
Well, I grew up in a bar when I was very little, and I was surrounded by people like that. So
yeah.
yes, it did. And I almost wonder if maybe some of that kind of seeped in a little bit when I'm watching this. I think it almost kind of stirred up some. I don't even think the movie. I don't think it was the movie at all. I think it kind of, I don't. I hate to use the term fucking trigger because I think it's such a bullshit
No, but
stupid term.
it's a good descriptor. Yeah.
But I almost feel like it kind of riled up some feelings that I haven't thought about in like 30 years. So I kinda love shit like that, so, I mean, I don't wanna sound like I'm backpedaling because this is the first movie you ever gave me, and it sounds odd because this movie doesn't seem like it would kinda elicit this response, but after I watched it, this movie kinda I thought on it, like, I wouldn't even try to think about it. Things would just kinda pop into my
Even
head.
just the way it ends, you're like, what the fuck was the point of all of this then?
Well, yeah, I remember when I first watched it, I was like, "What the fuck is that?" You know, like but then I've been thinking about it ever since. So, like, I mean, I don't wanna sound like I backpedal, but, when I first watched it, I really wasn't into it at all. But I think there could be many reasons why. But the more after thinking about it and actually kind of having a time to wrap my brain around and absorb it, and kind of you think about it a lot. I feel like I liked it, like which
So
is
let me ask you about some scenes then, because like this is a movie that um there are just so many scenes in this that I think about constantly for like I grew up around some of these people. Like the moment that I turned 18, I had people around me who were bringing me to a horse track to learn how to
oh, I
buck a
grew up
horse.
going to horse track with my grandpa.
Yeah. So like it's one of those things to where like I watched it and I immediately feel the nostalgia. And then as somebody who like loves gambling, addicted to gambling. I play cards a lot. I like sports betting. I like all these different things. I found myself attracted to this because I feel this like angle, like these like, oh, I'm just trying to find this right angle so I can just get one over on somebody. And then there's like these scenes where like I think about like where they're in the bar just fucking around going, "Okay, name all the 7 dwarfs," and that's just the drinking game they're playing where they're just struggling to name all fucking 7 dwarfs from like Snow White, like, it's just, like, these meaningful scenes, and then you have, what did you think of the horse track scene? Like, the whole angle where where Elliot Gould comes in is like, "Fucking skip work, stop being a journalist, let's just go to the fucking track," and they go to the track.
You know what, man? Like, it's funny because a lot of that, like, I almost wonder if that's the thing too. Because like, I grew up, around some very questionable people, and I had lots of buddies like that that kind of got me in a lot of trouble growing up. So I almost wonder if I associate that with that. I was friends with that character several times.
Elliot Gould, it seems like and I think that's why, it's why Elliot Gould was, like, Robert Altman's muse, because, like, Elliot Gould is the most charismatic human being that you just wanna latch on to him. You just wanna be his friend, you just wanna, like, talk to him. He's so funny and, like, just hanging out and fucking around, but, like, even the character that he is in that movie is the worst fucking influence that you could ever have, and is generally the worst part. Like, they're on a fucking bus, this lady gives him a shirt thing for a horse, and he goes, "Oh, fuck it, that's fucking bullshit."
Yeah, then it ends up backfiring.
And then he turns around, he bets on it, cleans up, and she's fucking throwing oranges at him as they're going down the escalator, and he's just yelling, "Lady, don't throw oranges." Like, that's so fucking ridiculous, but it's, like, funny, but it's also like, you're a piece of shit for doing that to her.
I almost feel like now that I kind of sort of am starting to kind of get this formula from them. I think I'd probably appreciate watching something else. I mean, I'm not opposed to watching any more films of his, but I definitely yeah, it's funny because like this is the first thing you gave me where I was like, I don't know so much. Maybe that's not for me. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I think I get it now. And I do think I actually liked it. And I do think I enjoyed it. And now I can appreciate it for what it was to me. It's like, I mean, yeah, I think I liked it.
It's a funny one because, like, I mean, I'll just be candid. It's my favorite. Like, to me, it's my favorite gambling movie ever made. And I think out of all the gambling movies, I could argue that it's probably like I grew up and probably up until a few years ago when I started to go through my Robert Altman, like I just want to watch everything this guy made. Hilariously enough, my introduction to him was Nashville. I watched that. I was like, I need to watch everything this guy fucking made. But I up until that point when I finally saw California Split sometime in the pandemic, I thought Rounders was the greatest gambling movie ever that dealt with, like, this sort of degenerate attitude, thinking that you know how to get around a game, even if you are able to play a person straight up and you can get the angle, there's still shit that can happen and you can lose your entire bankroll. I thought, Worm, there's never gonna be a worse character created in a gambling world than Worm because Worm was outwardly shitty and mean-spirited cocksucker. California Split changed that for me because Elliot Gould is the Worm character, but you don't realize it until the end. You do not realize that he is the fucking, like, he is sucking the life out of the other character in this movie, out of the main character, to where, like, this motherfucker just went in, he took down Amarillo Slim. He was like Amarillo Slim, if you don't know, like one of the greatest Texas Hold'em players like in history, like in the time before like we had the ability to learn the math and figure this out. Like that was a dude who naturally understood it. Piece of shit in real life, like the worst human being ever, but the greatest poker player to ever live. Took down Amarillo Slim and then immediately finds himself back at the tables throwing fucking craps and they're playing like just throwing all this fucking money down because why the fuck not? And yeah, they came out ahead, but it was almost like this realization of holy shit, if I stay on this path, I am going to die.
You know, it's funny you say that. I think that just brought up some memories. Like, I think that might have been a part of the issue too. Like, where I'm watching this movie and I'm like, why does this guy keep fucking falling for this dude's bullshit like over and over? And then now that we're talking about it, it is because he was so charismatic and so warm and that guy that like, he was such a charismatic dude that you just keep falling into the trap over and over and over again. And then now I think that's brilliant. Like I think
It's like and it's a scenario. You meet some dude at a card room and, somebody accuses you of cheating when you're not fucking cheating. Some guy has your back and, before you know it, you're drinking with them at the bar because you feel some sort of connection because, like, you guys had this shared experience dealing with an asshole, and before you know it, you're fucking
yeah, you're the mark.
you're skipping work and you're throwing 20 grand down on horses. You're fucking calling your bookie. The fucking the Lakers got this one tonight over the Celtics. Where am I gonna find 50? Jesus Christ, I'm in the whole 50 now. Like it was chaos. It was like never ending chaos.
Yeah, I like I said, man, like all that kind of got to me watching it, but now I think back and I kind of think it's brilliant for that reason. Like I never had you give me a movie yet that like kind of had this outcome yet where I was kind of adamantly against in the beginning, but as I thought on it over time, now I kind of see its brilliance. So like I think that's a win for you for sure. Mm.
It's a funny one too, because we were talking about like movies that you could watch on a superficial level.
Yeah.
Like that's a movie you can absolutely watch on a superficial level, kind of enjoy it, or
Oh,
just
for sure. Yeah.
like fun adrenaline junkie shit. But then it's like, even like in your case, like you kind of got left really confused at the end of it. Like
Yes.
even with on a subconscious contextual level,
Yeah.
you were left with this feeling of like, ew, and that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's definitely a win, man. Like in the beginning, I was afraid that I was gonna break your heart, but then over time, I'm like, yeah, you know what? No, I
I
changed
think it's
one.
I think it's why like you like I at least I'm attracted to like a show like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's like an entire series about represent like
No, yeah, there's not a likable character on
characters.
that show, but you end up loving them all.
And that's the thing, and I think that's what this movie does so well, is you had these people who were just degenerate pieces of shit, and you feel sorry for them, and you feel, like, better than them of, like, "Wow, I would never make that decision." But somewhere on a deep level, "Oh, man, I could be manipulated into making that decision." Like, I could be manipulated into thinking that I could take on Amarillo Slim with the remaining part of my bankroll and be able to come out on top. Like, we've all been there.
Yeah, you know what? I almost feel like I said, man, I don't think it's so much the fact that I didn't like the movie. It was the fact that it was conjuring up all these repressed feelings I had from being manipulated and taken advantage of from people just like that character. So yeah, it's kind of brilliant. Mm.
That's well, balls. This is actually my favorite discussion I've ever had with you on a movie that I gave you to where like started kind of at one end and then found our way not to the other end where you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, but like finding this like, oh shit ground. Like and I think that's just the beauty of these kind of movies. And honestly,
It is, man. I really do feel that way. Mm.
we somehow found our way even in we'll put a pin on that little like part of it because it goes into like the full picture of the double feature we accidentally created again just giving us stuff that we wanted to give is like we created a double feature of what manipulation looks like of
Oh, I didn't catch that context. That is actually really true.
yeah, like here's this like way of being manipulated by your state, and here is a way of being manipulated by the people around you who you think are your friends, or pretend to have your interests in mind. And it sort of begs this question to the individual of how do you spot bullshit? And how do you keep yourself protected from bullshit? And how do you form community with people who aren't actually trying to kill you because they feel like they have to, or using you because they feel like it's gonna create a better angle for them to make more money. Because ultimately, I think that's what that relationship was in California Split. Elliot Gould just saw a way to make a little bit more than he was before, regardless of how he felt, and I don't know, I think that's a cool I think it was a weird, cool double feature of manipulation.
It really is, and, like, it is funny because like, all that feeling and appreciation just kinda just yeah, I've never watched a film where, like, I didn't I think it was just so, beyond my scope at the beginning that it took a while for my head to wrap around it, which I think is super fucking cool, and then now that I actually understand what was going on in the meeting and all the subtext and everything, I get the brilliance of it, and now I have to say that I am a fan, I do like that one. Like, so, I feel like
That'll be one I think the next time you watch it, you'll wind up laughing your ass off
I
at
think
certain.
you're right. I actually told Xtina today, I was like, "I think I am gonna probably revisit that," so that's a good thing, I would think.
I genuinely believe the orange throwing scene is one of the funniest scenes.
I thought that was pretty funny. There was
Like, just the context of how that situation was created, it was a 15-minute scene in the making for, like, 30 seconds of some lady hucking oranges to them at them as they're going down an escalator with, like, 20K because they cleaned up, like,
well, see, buddy, you're gonna culture me at some point, and I feel like I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna be a bad influence on you at some point, so, hey, this project is working like it's supposed to.
oh my god. If you come to me and you go, "Listen, I think you could take on Daniel Negreanu and a heads up," I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off at you because 'cause I'm gonna go, "You know what? You're right. I could take on that fucking hack poker player. Right now, I'm gonna roll 20K and we are gonna win the World Series of poker." So when that happens, I'm gonna be coming to you for 20 grand.
I don't know how we continue to make these great double features, but I feel like we succeeded again, and, hey, we're almost out of time, so hey, it's always great doing this. I gotta say, man, I never am gonna stop enjoying this. It's always great. Always great to see you, my homie. Love you.
I love you.
Keep
We're gonna do this forever. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment. Tell us what movies you want to watch. Give some recommendations. Tell us what you thought. Go back and watch some old episodes. Show your grandmother how to use YouTube because I'm sure she'll enjoy it.
and make sure you check this double feature out. You might just like it.
And tell us what you think on this one if you watch
Please
it.
do.
All right.
So love everybody.